Hello, everyone. My name is Kolale Skandanyan. I'm the principal investigator of the Spark Hub. I'm also the vice president and chief innovation officer at Children's National Hospital, where I have the privilege of leading efforts that bring together innovators, researchers, and healthcare leaders to address some of the most pressing challenges in healthcare today, particularly those affecting children. I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's webinar. Thank you all for taking the time to join us as we explore the critical work done through the BARDA Accelerator Network 2.0 and its role in advancing medical countermeasures. Before we dive into the details of today's program, let me start by providing a brief overview of who we are and how we are making an impact in this space. Our partners from BARDA, Dr. Mary Larkin and Dr. Connor Hutcherson, will provide an overview of BARDA Accelerator Network 2.0. And I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Julia Finkel, Medical Director for Spark, Dr. Kamran Tariq, and Ms. Miran Gebrizyaber, who are the members of our core team at Children's National. Our hub represents a pioneering initiative under the Special Populations Accelerator for Research and Knowledge, known as SPARK program. We focus exclusively on the development and deployment of medical countermeasures designed to meet the unique needs of the pediatric populations. These populations face unique health vulnerabilities during public health crisis, from pandemics to chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, CBRN. By leveraging our expertise and network, we aim to bridge critical gaps in innovation, ensuring children's health and safety remain a top priority during emergencies. So our call to action is, let's reimagine pediatric health security together, driving innovation for those who need it most, our children. With that, I will pass it on to Dr. Larkin. Mary? And next slide, please.
Thank you so much, Kalali. I will hand it over to Connor, who will give the overview of BARDA and the BARDA Accelerator Network. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kalale and Mary. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to give a brief organizational overview of BARDA and also go over details related to the BARDA Accelerator Network, including our capabilities and opportunities for small startup companies. So the BARDA stands for the Office of Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, and we were established in 2006 along with our parent agency, the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, or known as ASPR, through the Pandemic and All Hazards Preparedness Act. This act was passed in the wake of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 as an attempt to bolster the United States' capabilities to address national security threats as well as national health emergencies. Now, within our office at BARDA, we are responsible for the procurement and development of medical countermeasures. And these are technologies that are created to counter public health emergencies and are principally geared towards bioterrorism, including the chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats with the CBRN. We also are aiming to address threats from pandemic infectious diseases like influenza, SARS-CoV-2, and other emerging disease states. Now, BARDA plays a unique and unusual role within the structure of the U.S. government by ultimately leveraging a public-private partnership to accelerate the development of these medical countermeasures. And we do this by providing services that would be similar to those offered by venture capitalist firms or business accelerators within private industry. So unlike our sister agencies within the Department of Health and Human Services, like NIH and CDC, we don't have internal internal facilities like laboratory space to conduct internal research and development, and we rely on these opportunities with these partnerships with industry to advance the research into medical countermeasures. And we do this all specifically without taking a specific stake in the final product once the technology is approved through the FDA. Now, some examples of some of the services we provide include small and large funding opportunities. We also provide access to companies with our arsenal of technological and regulatory subject matter experts. This would help basically the companies address technological barriers within their medical countermeasure and also help them guide them towards human studies through FDA regulation help. And also we provide opportunities for partnerships with industry sponsors to pretty much promote these innovative technologies. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, for companies that are developing technologies that are classified as early stage, BARDA offers a few different unique opportunities through the Accelerator Network, otherwise known as BAN, which was initially founded within the Division of Research, Innovation, and Ventures within BARDA, and that acronym is DRIVE. And this was founded in 2019, the original Accelerator Network, and was recently restructured this past year to expand our capabilities in providing assistance to startup companies developing medical countermeasures. An example of this is that BAN has partnered with 5 different Accelerator Hub programs across the country that specialize in developing technologies of strategic interest to our office. And you can see here on the figure on the right, this is a carousel, which outlines each of the 5 hubs within our network. I will just briefly go over each hub and their capabilities. We'll start with Vital, which is a partnership with the Start 2 Accelerator program based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Within this hub, we support the development and acceleration of next-generation therapeutic and vaccine platforms and technologies. The next one would be iCreate, which is a partnership with the University Lab Partners Accelerator program out of San Diego, California. And within this hub, we support the development and acceleration of novel diagnostics and medical devices to detect, prevent, or respond to medical consequences that arise from health security threats. The next hub would be Paratus, which is a partnership with the Matter Accelerator based out of Chicago, Illinois. This hub serves as a means of support for the development of applications of digital health tools. These tools will be used to empower people to prepare for and respond to health security threats and improve the standard continuum of clinical care. Then we have the Vanguard Hub, which is a partnership with MedTech Innovator based out of Los Angeles, California. And within this hub, we support the development of enabling technologies. This would include innovations in drug discovery, the development of biomanufacturing innovations that can be used to increase the speed, the capability, the portability, as well as scalability of medical countermeasures and producing medical countermeasures. And we also are looking at innovations to improve clinical research and clinical care coordination. And then finally, the hub that we're here to learn more about today, Spark, which is a consortium led by Children's Health National here in Washington, D.C. And they support the development, as Kalali mentioned earlier, the support and development of medical countermeasures for pediatric populations and special populations. Now, within each of our 5 hubs, we offer a couple of different opportunities for companies developing these early stage medical countermeasures. The first of which would be wraparound accelerator support services. These are traditional services provided by accelerator groups and often include entrepreneurship education for small companies, access to technological and business commercialization experts to build an advisory panel. We also assist in team building and also provide resources to help progress research and development of technology. Now, another opportunity is our development, evaluation, and validation funding. These are small awards that are funded through the hubs, often ranging from $50,000 to $200,000. And these are 6-month milestone-driven awards that are specifically geared to validate the novel technologies that these companies are creating. We often see these funds being proposed for one or multiple studies focused on efficacy, proof of concept, safety, basically to help push that technology forward in its commercialization process. And then as an internal capability, in the case of another public health emergency, God forbid, BAN can actually rapidly fund and accelerate product development through our hub network. So basically, we have strategic plans of each hub in the case of another health emergency where we can increase funding and opportunities to companies creating technologies that can address that emergency. So with that, I've completed my overview of BARDA and the BARDA Accelerator Network 2.0, and I'll pass it back over to the children's group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Connor and Mary. So I'll talk a little bit about the Spark Hub, which is the one led by Children's National. Our partners are CIMMYT out of Mass General Brigham, Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital, and BioHealth Innovation. So the Spark Hub embodies BARDA's commitment to addressing a historically underserved area in medical countermeasure development. And I will refer to this as MCM, medical countermeasures. And this is the pediatric populations, and I use the plural because this is a heterogeneous population consisting of neonates, infants, children, and adolescents. So while significant progress has been made in MCM for adults, children remain disproportionately vulnerable during public health emergencies, including chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, CBRN. You may hear often that children are not small adults. Yes, children have unique physiological and developmental needs that make them more predisposed to both the direct effects of emergencies and the inadequacies of existing solutions. So by transforming these challenges into opportunities, our Spark Hub aims to close the innovation gap and set a new standard for how we protect and prioritize children. Whether responding to pandemics, CBRN threats, or other emergencies, our goal is to ensure that the pediatric populations, that is about 22% of the population in the United States, but 100% of the future, are not left behind. So I will also go through our services in the next slide, which Connor very nicely covered. But I wanted to just add color about how our hub addresses this unique challenge that the pediatric populations face. So the complexity of within our target populations is the complexity of regulatory pathways and the challenges of market entry, which often deter innovators from pursuing pediatric-specific solutions. The market is simply too small. Our hub will address this through providing incentives in form of comprehensive wraparound services and direct funding. A very important feature of our hub is the number of pediatrician scientists that receive dedicated protected time to work with the Spark Hub, specifically 9 at Children's National and 2 at Rainbow Babies. So we'll pair entrepreneurs with clinical, industry, reimbursement, regulatory experts to navigate challenges across the development life cycle, again, with an emphasis on the pediatric populations. Through our wraparound service, we call it WAS, it's the Wraparound Accelerator Services. We provide the type of mentorship that I alluded to in all phases of the total product life cycle. So this is all the way from ideation to market access. We also aim to create a community of pediatric MCM innovators to foster collaboration among startups, researchers, regulatory and reimbursement experts, and all experts with an expertise in the total product lifecycle. So with that, we want to create an ecosystem where pediatric-focused breakthrough MCMs can become successful. And simultaneously, the direct funding is our development, evaluation, and validation. We call it DEV. Funding that provides critical capital, enabling projects to advance through the rigorous demands of FDA-regulated medical products. The combination of mentorship, technical resources, and funding hopefully will ensure that innovative ideas evolve into market-ready solutions tailored to the needs of children during public health emergencies. Next slide, please. And so for this solicitation, the key focus areas are the following. This slide has them into buckets of diagnostics, medical devices, therapeutics, and vaccines, digital health tools, and enabling technologies. So I'll bring a couple of examples. For diagnostics, we are looking for innovations in developing pediatric-specific solutions, such as child-friendly sample collection methods, at-home diagnostic tools, and rapid viral versus bacterial infection testing. For medical devices, we are looking for innovations in creating new devices or bringing on label existing adult devices that will be specifically evaluated in children and labeled as such. So while emphasizing ease of application and comfort for children, all of that, we want to make sure that our solutions are child-friendly and specifically designed for children. Some examples can be non-invasive remote patient monitoring devices that can reduce the need for children to come to an acute care hospital during emergencies. In the bucket of therapeutics and vaccines, we're looking for innovations in development of therapeutics and vaccines specifically designed for children, including formulations that require fewer doses, perhaps, or can be administered via painless delivery methods, and innovations for drug and vaccine delivery systems tailored for children. Some examples may include needle-free injectors, dissolvable oral tablets, perhaps wearable vaccine patches. These are some examples, all to ensure that treatments are not only effective, but also less intimidating and more accessible to the pediatric populations. In the bucket of digital health tools, we're looking to leverage technologies to provide scalable, accessible solutions for pediatric populations, such as developing models to predict pediatric-specific dosages during emergencies. Just an example. In the bucket of enabling technologies, we're looking to support cross-cutting innovations that facilitate pediatric product development across all areas. Next slide, please. So today's webinar is about talking about the solicitations that we have open, and they are our Spark Hub Prize Challenge 2024. This is to encourage bold ideas with $50,000 in non-dilutive funding for up to 3 winners to split the $50,000. The finalists will pitch their solution live at our January 28 event in Washington, D.C. The Spark Dev Funding Opportunity 2025 will offer up to $200,000 per project, up to $200,000 in milestone-based funding to advance pediatric-focused MCM projects through evaluation and validation phases. And at the same time, our Spark Accelerator 2025 is a 6-month immersive accelerator program tailored to provide cohort-based and individualized mentorship, equipping participants with the knowledge and skills that they need to navigate advancing through the total product life cycle for regulated medical products, medical countermeasures specifically, all the way from concept to market. Next slide, please. Who is eligible? So the Spark Hub invites innovators from diverse backgrounds, including those from academia, the industry, the startup community, to address pediatric health security challenges. Eligible projects should align with BARDA's mission. This is very important. Proposing innovative solutions within diagnostics, medical devices, therapeutics, vaccines, and digital health, and enabling technologies. So proposals are open to everyone worldwide, reinforcing BARDA's commitment to fostering a global community of innovators. All technology readiness levels, TRLs, are welcome, ensuring opportunities for early stage ideas to mature into impactful solutions. Next slide, please. And the scoring criteria are alignment with BARDA's mission, very important. And I encourage everyone to visit BARDA's website to read about the strategic priorities and the areas of interest. Solid understanding of special populations, specifically the pediatric populations. Making sure that your solution represents an innovative product or idea, and it's make a differentiation. So we are not looking for me too solutions, but those that are uniquely different and are disrupting the market, if you will. Your plan for execution, your technical expertise, and regulatory knowledge and readiness, knowledge of regulatory knowledge and readiness. If your idea is just a concept, we don't expect you to have your regulatory plan full-fledged presented, but we expect you to have the knowledge about how the pathway works, specifically in the domain of pediatric populations. Next slide, please. So in terms of use of fund and what is in and what is out, the allowable expenses include direct costs for development, evaluation, and validation activities. You may use the funds for personnel as well as for consultants, such as CROs, that are directly engaged in executing your plan. Project milestones will be completed. We expect you to complete them in 6 months from the start of the project, and the funds should be spent during the project period. There will be reporting requirements based on milestone achievements, and a final report is due to us at the end of the project. Some of the key dates include for the prize challenge, the deadline is coming up very soon. It's 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December the 16th. That's the deadline, and the finalist will be announced on January 6th to present live on January 28th in Washington, D.C. The key dates for the Spark Dev funding opportunity, the deadline is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on January the 6th. And for the Spark Accelerator program, this is the 6-month immersive experience mini MBA, if you will. The deadline for that is 11:59 p.m. on January 27th. Next slide, please. And at this time, we invite your questions to post in the Q&A box, and we invite you to visit our website, mcmforkids.org, and are linked in under Children's National Innovation Ventures. And there is also an email address that you may email us. So these 3 channels are open for you to contact us after this seminar. But for right now, we will open the floor for questions. And I can facilitate the questions. So I see 3 questions unanswered in Q&A. First question regarding the Spark grants. For the Spark funding opportunities, if the team is part of a research team embedded in an academic institution, how do you propose we approach the business strategy piece of this grant? As an example, my institution uses a licensing model for commercialization. So this is an important question for those answering the question about business strategies, and rightly so, those in an academic institution have the option of working, not option, we strongly encourage you to work with your tech transfer office to early on, protect your IP, and if the tech transfer decides to advance for your innovation, whatever you have disclosed to the tech transfer office to move forward for patent protection, then you will be working very closely with your office to identify potential licensees for the product, and also often, and specifically at Children's National, we welcome faculty entrepreneurs who decide to start a business, and once they have reached certain milestones, such as raising funds, then they can enter into a negotiation process with the institution to license the IP that they developed and which belongs to the institution, license that to commercialize it with their startup company and business. So this is, from my perspective, I welcome Mary's comments on this as well.
So much, Kalali. Just to add kind of what we're looking for on the BARDA side. So we're a very product-focused organization. Because our mission is to save lives, we have to have actual products to be able to deploy to do that. So we would like to see that there's been some thought put into how that eventually would go through the approval process, either make it to market, or in some cases these are actually procured by the federal government itself. So I think the question is, what do I plug into that slide? So it could be as simple as kind of, what you think needs to be done in the R&D stage right now versus taking it to the next step of scaling it up or starting to build that out into a product. Would there be certain partners that need to come in at that step? And then finally, how do you see this as it becomes a product being available to the people who would need it? Will you potentially license that technology out? Are you thinking of maybe starting a company around this concept and actually doing the product development yourself? So just would love to see some high level stages of how that would go from the current stage to actually be available to patients and people.
Thank you, Mary. Next question, would a project focused on interventions in preventing sudden unexplained death in childhood be responsive? Mary?
So I definitely encourage, as Kalali said, to comb through BARDA's website, take a look at the areas of interest, because it is kind of a challenging concept to grasp. If you're not in this health security space, what does that really mean? So, thinking about those kind of critical threats, as Connor went through: chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, emerging infectious diseases, pandemic, influenza. So, think of all the things that keep everybody up at night. That's basically BARDA's mission space. So anything that is more of sort of a chronic kind of thing, or would definitely include this as something that is not in BARDA's mission space. Yeah, unexplained death, because here we're dealing with a known threat. We're trying to mitigate an imminent and known threat through developing vaccines, developing drugs, developing diagnostics, etc. So anything sort of, unexplained, that's something on an individual level, something that is chronic, a chronic disease, or something that is cancer, all very important topics, but they are not in BARDA's mission space.
Yeah, thank you. And you can still contact us, not as part of BARDA, but you can contact the Children's National Team to see if we can direct you to another funding opportunity or see what might be possible for your project. The next question, would a speech therapy software for kids fall under the areas of interests?
Yeah, so again, not a health emergency kind of issue, so that would not fall under this opportunity.
And same, you can always contact the Children's National Team to see how we can help direct your project to another opportunity. Could we please just have an example of a pediatric device aligned with BARDA's mission, who were enrolled in the previous programs? So I guess the question is, like, in 1.0, did you come across any pediatric device project?
Yeah, so as Connor kind of talked about this, we have this whole new program. So what we fund now, these will be the examples. So the best guidance is what Kalali went through as far as what we're looking for under each of these technical areas. Kind of some general advice. We are, as you can see, infer from those topic areas, we are keeping it relatively broad this first year. Really want to see what kind of innovation is out there for pediatrics across these different categories. The other thing that I can say that we're looking for is more like multi-use kinds of technologies. So if we're a big fan in these early stages of platform technologies, but this could also be something where there's an approved product and we're looking at a pediatric indication. So again, these will be our first examples in these groundbreaking projects that we fund as part of this new partnership. And yeah, I can't really, but obviously our organization has funded pediatric indications, but those have been in advanced research and development. Those are often typically around something very specific. And here we really want to keep it broad, something that can pivot to various use cases.
Thanks, Mary. Next question, can we reach out to the Spark Hub to see if our translational application of a medical device fits which of the 3 Spark programs you have proposed? The device is already FDA cleared for a pediatric patient population, but our goal is to expand it to other underserved pediatric subsets. Very broad. I suggest you contact us and come to one of our standing meetings. We call those Cameron Market meetings.
Market research call.
Market research call meetings, and it's every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you can contact Cameron or myself or the email address on the slide to schedule an appointment and come to our meeting so we can learn more about your device project. Or sorry, this is not project, it's already FDA cleared, about your device. Okay, next question. I'm guessing that devices to treat congenital heart diseases, such as vascular implants, are not included here.
Yeah, correct that that's not in BARDA's mission space, though. If somebody is developing a device that has relevance to I mean, you know your technology best, so there could be more than one use case for something. So if you're developing some kind of tool that could also be used in an emergency kind of situation, you know, then definitely consider that as well. So I don't know the nature of the device and its ability to kind of pivot over to more of an acute use case, but definitely with all of your technologies, consider the other applications that they could have.
Yeah. And we would be very interested, although it may not fall under BARDA's priority areas, but same, please contact us to schedule a call so we can learn more about your device and direct you to other opportunities. All right, so that's all open questions have been answered live. I will read some of the questions that were answered by Connor directly, so others can may benefit from. Question was, are food as medicine projects aligned with this focus? Connor's answer, thanks for the question. Unfortunately, food as medicine would not align with BARDA interest. Next question, is the application open to mature medical device companies who can bring a unique device for the pediatric population? Connor's answer, yes. Okay. Next question, thank you. Should we find the links for application submission on your website? The answer is yes, mcmforkids.org. Next question, can you go back to the key date slide, just confirming the dates on the Spark Accelerator? It shows it won't be released until next year, but it's set to start next year. Is this a typo? Kamran responded that the accelerator program is currently accepting applications, and he included the link to the website. That's all.
Will you post slides as well as I know you're going to post the recording of the webinar. Will you be posting slides as well? See a question on that.
Yes, we'll post this slide deck as well as the link to the webinar on our website.
There's one more question. Do these grants have any incompatibility with any other grant from Children's National?
Thank you so much. Do these grants have any income? No. No, that means that, you know, if you have applied for a funding opportunity under our FDA grant, you can also apply for this opportunity.
Awesome.
No conflict.
There are no open questions, so we can conclude the webinar here. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you,
Spark
everyone.
team.